Yeah, my turn. Because I notice it's hard to when I listen in when you're singing, it's like a little fun.
You mean through the Zoom?
Yeah.
I mean, I usually sing with mic,
You usually sing
like all the time. The first time I'm with mic.
I don't know why.
It's depends on the settings, but I put the music on
You always put music as
most of the times. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vedam Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vedam Abhijana Bhava Yagina Abhijana Bhava Yagina Ashodana Dana Jaya Prajadan Raja Ashodana Dana Jaya Prajadan Raja Yamuna Theravana Chare Jaya Kunda Vindevan Yamuna Theravana Chare Jaya Kunda Vindevan Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vindevan Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vindevan Abhijana Bhava Jaya Giri Jaya Abhijana Bhava Jaya Giri Jaya Yashodana Dana Jajan Dana Shodana Dana Daya Yashodana Dana Jaya Vraja Jana Jana Sajana Amana Tera Vana Chanmare Jaya Gyante Amare Aya Tera Vana Chanare Jaya Gyante Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gyante Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Krishna, Rama Rama, Rama Jaya Radha Damadara Radha Damadara Radha Damadara Radha Radha Padam Jaya Ram Padam Ram Padam Jaya Ram Padam Padam Ram Ram Padam Jaya Ram Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Damodar ki jai. Christian dear devotees, just a second, I'll connect the mic. Morning, everyone. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskar Narottam Devim Saraswati Vyasa Tato Jayamudirayat Krishna Prayeshva Bhadreshi Nityam Bhagavat Bhagavati Uttamam Shri Bhakti Bhavati Vaishnaki. Devotees, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 7, verse 17. Chapter is called Indra and Brihaspati. Ya Parameshchan Deshanam
Paramastam Nishanam.
Adhitishtana Kanchana
Ishtam
Pratyushchet Iti Bhuyo
Pratyutishteti Pruto.
Dharvam Tena Param Vidu Ya Parameshchan Deshanam
Yaparasaktishanam.
Adhitishtana Kanchana
Ishtam Kanchana.
Pratyushchet Iti Bhuyo
Pratyutishteti Pruto.
Dharvam Tena Param Vidu Ya Parameshchan Deshanam
Parasaktishanam.
Adhitishtana Kanchana
Ishtam Kanchana.
Pratyutishthet iti bhruya
Pratyutishteti Pruto.
dharmam tena param vidu.
Yaparasaktishanam.
Parameshyanti sharanam
Aditistana Kanchana.
aditishana kanchana
Pratyutishteti Pruto.
aditishtet iti bhruya
Dhammam Tirna Navaram Fiduyo.
dharmam tena param vidu. Ya parameshyanti sharanam
Aditishthana Kanchana
aditishana kanchana
Pratyutishthar Iti Bhuyo
pratyutishthet iti bhruya
Dharamantena Paramit
dharmam tena param vidu. You want to write online language?
Ya Parameshyam Isharam
Ya parameshyanti sharanam
Adhitishtan Nakanchana
aditishana kanchana
Pratyutishtet Iti Bhruyor
pratyutishthet iti bhruya
Dharmam Tena Param Viduhu.
dharmam tena param vidu. Anyone else? Cool.
Yaparameshtam Jishanam
Parameshyanti
Aditishtam Nakanchana Pratyutishta Iti Bhruyor Dharmam Tena Param Vidu.
Just for Janavatsala present, and we also have Janavatsala. Okay, 420. Yeah, anyone who Paramesham royal Dishana from Adishishtam city from no Kanchana, anyone Pratyushtan should rise before it. Thus, Bruyum, those who say Dharma, the codes of religion, te, they, na, not, param, higher, vidu, no. Translation. If a person says, one who is situated on the exalted throne, the king, should not stand up to show respect to another king or a brahmana, it is to be understood that he does not know the superior religious principle. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore said in this regard that when a president or a king is sitting on his throne, he does not need to show respect to everyone who comes within his assembly, but he must show respect to superiors like his spiritual master, brahmanas, and Vaishnavas. There are many examples of how he should act. When Lord Krishna was sitting on his throne, and Narada fortunately entered the assembly, even Lord Krishna immediately stood up with his officers, ministers, to offer respectful obeisance to Narada. Narada knew that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna knew that Narada was his devotee. But although Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Narada is the Lord's devotee. The Lord observed the religious etiquette. Since Narada was a brahmachari, a brahmana, and exalted devotee, even Krishna, while acting as a king, offered his respectful obeisance unto Narada. Such is the conduct visible in the Vedic civilization. A civilization in which the people do not know how the representative of Narada and Krishna is respected, how society should form, and how one should advance in Krishna consciousness. A society concerned only with manufacturing cars and new skyscrapers every year, and then breaking them to pieces and making new ones, maybe technologically advanced, but it is not a human civilization. A human civilization is advanced when its people follow the Chaturvarnya system, a system of orders of life. There must be ideal first-class men to act as advisors, second-class men to act as administrators, third-class men to produce food and protect cows, and fourth-class men who obey the three higher classes. One who does not follow the standard system of society should be considered a fifth-class man. A society without Vedic laws and regulations would not be very helpful to humanity. As stated in this verse, Dharma Tina Param Vidu, such a society does not know the aim of life and the highest principle of religion. Ya Paramay Yamadishanam Adhiti Tamakakitam Prat Iti Proyuru Dharmam Tina Param Vidu. If a person says, one who is situated on the exalted throne of a king should not stand up to show respect to another king or a brahmana, it is to be understood that he does not know the superior religious principles. Shrichitanyamana Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayarpa Kadamahyam Tadati Svapadantikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhavadagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostate Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Davavash Ishavarus Devi Radhavami Harivi Panchakalpatarabhyashta Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vaidhananda Shivasi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Shatarini. What we have just done now is showing respects to various personality, our superior, in order to bestow the blessings upon us, in order to speak something of spiritual, spiritual pure content, meaning transmitting the message by Guru Parampara. This etiquette is pretty much on every, well, definitely every canto, but almost every chapter in Bhagavatam we see some of those interactions according to Vaishnava etiquette. How seniors are respected, how juniors are respected as seniors, how equals are shown their friendship amongst each other. And in Vedic civilization, that etiquette was very natural. Nobody had to really think twice. Oh, now I see the lordships.
The sound, something to the sound.
Something with the sound.
You change music.
Okay, I'll restart. I'll shut down and repeat again with a quick sign message.
It's fine now. Can you just see where which direction the speaker is? The big speaker in the temple. Can you check which direction it's facing? If it's facing into the mic.
No, it's not facing to the mic.
Okay.
It's facing the
Okay.
wall. But there was something with the mic itself. Now it shows that the mic is moving. Before it didn't show the mic is moving.
Sounds better. Sounds much better.
Okay. All right. So when Shukadeva Goswami enters the arena where all the kings and sages are gathered, so everyone detects in him, even though he's 16 years old, naked, and so forth, they detect in him a great personality. And everybody stands up to greet him, apart from two personalities. Do you remember who? Who didn't stand up to greet Narada Muni? Yeah, both. Yeah, Shukadeva Goswami. So his father Vyasadeva and Narada Muni, both of them, because one is Guru, one is Param Guru, and even though they chose him to give the class, being an elevated soul, liberated soul, they didn't stand up because they have to follow respects. Then we know the opposite examples when Lord Shiva enters the arena of Daksha. I think that was, well, we read it in 4th canto. So again, everybody stands up, but then Daksha doesn't, right? I mean, Brahma doesn't. He's a father, but Daksha also doesn't. But that's not correct. So he got there. Not only he didn't stand up, but he also showed arrogance and spoke very harsh words, and so eventually he got very big reactions from that. Now Indra is doing the same thing, but the reasons are different. Like in one, well, I mean, it's also pride, but it's kind of like different, little different pride. So because in a case of Daksha, the pride was also intertwined with anger already, because he was literally, he started blaspheming Lord Shiva. In Indra's case, he was just intoxicated with pride, meaning he just was intoxicated with all this opulence. Everything works out. The first verses describe that. Everybody's dancing, singing, chanting. It's a good party going on. He's like, wow, my life worked out. Shachi Devi is there. I mean, his wife and all those demigods and opulence and demons are not bothering. It's good. Life is good. And don't forget, I mean, those demigods, their bodies are really, really powerful. In fact, Indra is also very powerful. He's thunderbolt. No wonder the Greeks were saying he is the man. He's got the thunder, because thunder can crush mountains. It's really strong weapon. So he was there. I mean, he had the piety, he had the position, but when Brihaspati entered, somehow or other he did not notice, or like we sometimes maybe are a little bit lazy in the morning to pay obeisances to spiritual master. Did you notice that? Or after Gayatri, sometimes instead of just bowing down, and we're not like lame people, it's not like we're old and we cannot bow down, but we just do like little pranam. Or sometimes it's like almost like a nodding, to this picture of spiritual master. Yeah. We did the Gayatri for you. Now, all those little symptoms, that's where it starts, and you have to be very, very vigilant of those, and you have to stop yourself in the moment that you automatically did this and say, hold on a second. I know I'm in a rush, but I'm not in a rush not to like pay 2 seconds obeisances. This is wrong. And actually, Srila Prabhupada, when devotees, disciples of his, started not bowing down, once he said about one disciple, this is the beginning of his fall down. And sure enough, he fell down very quickly after that. So the benefit of Indra, or the good thing about Indra, is he's still a devotee, although he's getting into trouble quite often because of his position. And that also a good example that material opulence can be an obstruction for devotional service. You really have to be on a level of complete pure devotee to fully engage all the opulence for the service of the Lord without it being affected by it. So, and Indra, so what happens to him, what we're reading right now, is that repentance, the mood of repentance has, immediately he got the intelligence. Even though Brihaspati didn't say anything, he just left. But sometimes we have to be, if we are mindful of what's happening and people are leaving all of a sudden, we have to understand why. Especially like right now, Janavatsala left, so I don't know, maybe I have committed some offense. So, yes, going to work. Anyway.
Still online, Prabhu.
Great. No, but we have to be something's happening. Maybe something is wrong. We did something wrong, so we have to be alert, especially with seniors. We have to be extremely conscious of what's happening. And yes, and this is a common etiquette. What's described here, it's not just Vaishnava etiquette, it's actually respecting seniors. So when a senior comes into the room, one have to get up from his seat. So for example, I'm giving class right now, but if any upper disciple come in, I should stand up and greet them and also even invite them to give class instead of me, to continue the class. And if only they stop and bless and say, no, you please continue, then I can continue. And once there was a funny video with Radhanan Maharaj. quietly getting into the class in Eco Govardhan village, and he sat right there in the front row with his chadar on. And so the speaker, his disciple, he came in, started chanting, and then started giving class. And then all of a sudden, he just like literally, because Ranas are sat on the floor very humbly, but in front, he was like right in front of him. And because he was like absorbed in his thoughts of what he's gonna say, he didn't notice him first until like maybe 5 minutes down the track, and then he sees his spiritual master, and he literally like not jumps up, he like falls from this Vyasasana like on the floor. Maharaj, can you give a class? And yeah. And so Rana Maharaj, he just no, he did continue. And he, not to embarrass him further, he just left to give him space. Give class. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say, it's his disciples, you give class, and he was even listening. That was, I can imagine how, giving class in front of the, not just a spiritual master, but founder of Acharya must be quite an experience. Nonetheless, he was training them, and he was correcting them, and he was observing them. I remember Mahaduti Maharaj did the same things to us. When we were serving, he would put us on Vyasasana to speak. And then he would note like the mistakes or whatever went wrong from perspective of prayers and everything. And then he would give us feedback after. Now this was wrong, this was right, this you could have done like that. And so anyway, I'm very grateful to all the senior Vaishnavas who are training us. Yes, so there's a hierarchy in which we have to offer respect. Even when the teacher comes, we used to have my sister. She sent me a video. How I'll send it to you in a, well, I guess individually. I don't know. Just to for you to appreciate and laugh at the same time, I guess. So all of them were pioneers back then, not pioneers in the sense of pioneering a project or whatever, but um, with those red bow ties and uniforms in the school in USSR. So there was an English teaching lesson. So they would all stand up before the class. Good morning, teacher. We are glad to see you. And then they would all sit down. It's like, but when you look at it, it's so funny. It's funny in a sense. I mean, for me at least, because I grew up in that culture. But it's also respectful, to greet the teacher and to show the respect, stand up when they enter and things like that. So it's in a common mundane culture, but especially in spiritual culture. And Srila Prabhupada says here that Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and a spiritual master should be respected even by president. So they should pay respects. Imagine such situation. But it's obvious that president doesn't have to stand up when his secretary comes in or whoever, somebody comes to water the flowers. He just doesn't react to that. He just continues with his business. But if he's equal or senior to him, and who's senior to president? Actually, Vaishnavas and Brahmanas and spiritual master, if he has one. To that person, he should always pay respects. With that, he will have the blessings to continue the service. So I'll tell Arjuna and Maharaj Yudhishthira. Well, first of all, we have to understand that Maharaj Yudhishthira, he was so pious, that's what I said before, that before the battle of Kurukshetra, in order to even start the fight, they would come to Bhishmadev, to their senior, and ask for blessings, for victory. Bhishmadev raises his hands, Tathastu, let it be so. Duryodhana is like, what are you doing? You're blessing our enemies. And he explains, when a junior with all the sincerity and humility comes for blessings, hands raise automatically. It's like, there's no way not to bless. How can you not bless if a person's so humble and respectful, and it's just there, it's like, it's very natural. But then there was one more instance on the 16th day of Battle of Kurukshetra, so 2 days before the end. from 16th to 17th day, the situation happened so that Arjuna was fighting somewhere else. Duryodhana didn't have any of his generals left. Bhishma was gone. Dronacharya was gone. So there was only Karna left. And he was his last hope to kill Arjuna. So he has empowered him and he said, now you do. So he was very ferociously fighting, killing a lot of enemies on the 16th day, but not, like, still wasn't clear. And then 17th day came, and then Arjuna was on the other battlefield of Kurukshetra, on the other side, and Yudhishthira had to fight with Karna. And Yudhishthira was defeated like anything. He, like, absolutely defeated. His chariot was broken, his bow was broken, two of his helpers with the chariot were killed, all his weapons, he was wounded, he was on the ground unconscious, and he could kill him. The only reason he didn't do this is because he promised to Kunti, Devi, to his mother, he said, don't worry, I will only kill one of your sons, Arjuna. And if I kill him, you still have 5 sons, because I'm also your son. And if he kills me, you still have your 5 sons. So whatever the situation will be, you'll have your 5 sons. So that was promise of Karna, and so he didn't kill Yudhishthira, but he really enjoyed like killing his false pride, not false pride, but like Kshatriya ego, like you've been not only defeated, you're on the ground, you're wounded, and the enemy is laughing at you. This is horrible. So Bhima came in, and so they started fighting, and Nakul Sahadev took Yudhishthira back to the camp, and he was lying there, almost unconscious, and the doctors started doing their work. And then Arjuna, when he heard about, like, he fought through the whole field, through all those enemies, killing them and getting to the spot, and then Krishna told Arjuna, he said, before going into the battle with Karna, let us see what's happening with Yudhishthira. He's wounded. So, get his blessings, ensure he's okay, and then we'll go and kill Karna. It's a good idea. He listens to Krishna. So they went in. And at that moment, Yudhishthira was lying there, and he was all in that pain and complete miserable mood by being so defeated. And he was only thinking of Karna. And he's thinking, only Arjuna can really defeat him. I hope he does it. And then when he thought of Arjuna, that he can defeat him, that's the only thing that gave him solace. Arjuna comes in right at that moment. And Yudhishthira looks at him and he thinks, oh, that's a good sign. That means he killed him. And he started to glorify Arjuna for killing Karna. Arjuna, he was such a warrior. Finally, I've been thinking about this rascal for all those 13 years while we were in exile. He's such a bad, and he was like feeling so jubilated that he finally get rid of this stumble block on their not only path to victory, but also with all these horrible things that were going on while they were in exile. And Arjuna couldn't say a word. Arjuna was. And then finally he said, "Oh, how was it? Tell me, how did you do?" And then Arjuna just looked at at his feet, and it's like, Yudhishthira, all you say is correct. I'll definitely kill him right away. I just came to get your blessings only, for a second, and then I'm going and I'm just gonna smash him. With your blessings, this is all possible. And when Yudhishthira heard that Arjuna, he didn't go to fight, he just came to see him, all that anger that was building up in him in all those decades, with having that fight with Karna and their relationship, he just blew up. He started call Arjuna ill names. You coward! How could you not defeat the name of our family? You are, and he just was going on and going on. Condemned his Gandiva bow. He said, "Why are you having this Gandiva bow? You might as well just throw it away. You cannot use it, or give it to somebody else. Anybody can kill Karna with his Gandiva bow. Why are you carrying this?" And he was just like blaspheming and annihilating him like anything. So Arjuna, as he was listening through this, he was changing in color from white to pink to reddish to like bulgros to almost like black, red black. And when he finished, all Arjuna did is he just took his sword to kill Yudhishthira. Krishna was there. He was looking at all of this, and he just came, grabbed Arjuna's hand, and said, "Arjuna, why did you take your sword?" He couldn't even say a word properly. So Krishna pulled him out of this area, pushed him out, and then he said, "Arjuna, so just calm down. So tell me what's going on." He said, "Before Battle of Kurukshetra, I promised that anyone who would blaspheme my Gandiva bow, that would say something of that sort, I would kill that person immediately." So I gave a vow. And he said, and Maharaj Yudhishthira, he follows all the vows. He would understand me and he would gladly be killed. So, because he would allow me to follow my vow. And Krishna listened to him patiently, and then he said, when he calmed down a little bit, he said, "How would you feel if you would kill your brother?" Yeah. So, and he said, "Actually, yes, I don't know. I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to live." And he said, so he started to give him a lecture on Dharma. He said, well, your vow is just like almost nonsense, like teenagers' vow. You know, you have to understand the Dharma is multi-layered. So what you have to follow is not necessarily true when there's a higher Dharma present. So you cannot kill your superior, you cannot kill your brother who you worship, and so forth. Anyway, so he gave him example with Kaushika Brahmana who was following the truthfulness vow, and then the rogues came and they followed some persons that they wanted to kill, and this Brahmana, because he followed the vow of Satya, he said yes, they went there, and for that he went to hell. So because you have to understand, you have to have your intelligence. At what point your Satyam Vrata has no meaning. If somebody wants to kill innocent people, you have to protect, because Dharma means to maintain. Drit means to maintain, not to annihilate or not to destroy, not to create conflicts and so forth. So all of those intricacies. And so Arjuna was perplexed on what to do, because that was Krishna's plan anyway, to create this situation. And so, well, he said, I promised to kill, so how do I kill and not kill? He said, that's not a problem, because you're junior to him. You go, and now you blaspheme him. You say about his defects. By blaspheming the senior, it's like committing suicide. Sorry, it's like killing him. And so he said, okay. So he went back to there, got the air in his lungs, and then, you call me coward, but this is all because of you. You were playing this game, and you sold us, and you because of you in this situation, we were 13 years in this exile because of you. You created this whole situation. It's your fault. And so he started to like blaspheme Maharaj Yudhishthira. And as he blasphemed him more and more and more, he stopped and took his sword again. And Krishna comes, said, Arjuna, why are you taking your sword again? I said, to kill myself. I just blasphemed my brother, my senior. It's like committing, it's worse than death. How can I live after that? I have to kill myself now. So Krishna pushes him out of the place again and says, Arjuna, now how can you kill yourself? What would Maharaj Yudhishthira think, losing you as his brother? And I says, but what to do? How do I, rectify this? I said, that's okay. You go to him and you start to self-glorify yourself. If you self-glorify yourself, it's like in front of senior, it's like committing suicide. So Arjuna, of course, he said, okay. And then he comes back and starts to self-glorify himself. Actually, I am the bravest warrior anyway. Only I can kill Karan, whatever he was self-glorifying. And then he felt so miserable after that again. And then Maharaj Yudhishthira said, no, actually, Arjuna, you're right. You're right. It's all my fault. I think I should just give up this war and just go to the forest now. Krishna's looking at this. Like, what's wrong with all of you today? Just get yourself together. One is to go and fight Karna. The other one is to just relax and stop this self because Yudhishthira had this as a. They all are soft-hearted Vaishnavas. You have to understand. So what I'm trying to say is that all this Vedic civilization, especially among the Vaishnavas, they were so expert in etiquette. They were ready to execute for their faults or for their mistakes immediately, even up to so that they were ready to take their lives. That's how they were following the words, and and only Krishna would guide them through all of those very intricate situations, being expert in all the dharma. Sarva dharman parityaja mamakam sharanam. Whatever the dharma is, ultimate dharma is follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, who? Alina? I don't know. No, I don't see. She's on backup. Okay, well, we have to text. Can you text in Ops group? Alina is on backup. So, yes. So following the right etiquette was not just a matter of following the etiquette for the sake of etiquette. Actually, from following the etiquette, all the blessings and all the powers, all the empowerments came from seniors to juniors. And it's an interesting definition that that Bhishma Deva gives about the Dharma. He explains that Dharma means to say truthfulness in such a way that it combines, that it unites. If you say truthful things, but they disunite or they destroy, that's opposite of what Dharma is, because Dharma means to maintain. It's a foundation. The Dharma Shastras, from Manu Samhita, Vyasa Smriti, and Narada Smriti, and all those Shastras, they are there to maintain. So that's a foundation. Dharma is foundation. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, we can see even that sequence also there. The Dharma goes first. So, and that starts with proper etiquette. That starts with proper dealings with the seniors. That's where it all starts. And furthermore, if one is not serving seniors, he will not be able to distinguish what is Dharma and what is Adharma. There are quotes in Bhagavad Gita about this, but then there is what I'm quoting right now is from still Shanti Parva and Mahabharata about when Bhishma was instructing Maharaj Yudhishthira about what is Dharma, how to rule, and so forth. He was given those very important explanations about the Dharma, because as with this example with Brahmana Kaushika, he was following Satya. Satya means it's truthfulness, is one of the leg of religions. But when it came to protection of innocent, he had to understand what is Haya Dharma. Right now, he had to lie. He had to, because he had to save those innocent people. Lying, however he wanted it, do a trick or something, but not blindly following his vow, for which he got into the hell. So Dharma, even though it's in one sense straightforward, it's actually not. It's actually quite complex. So in order to understand what's Dharma right now in each situation, one has to have this almost like an intuitive, pure heart to get the guidance from Krishna. But in order to do that, in order to have such, one has to serve the seniors. Because if one doesn't serve the seniors sincerely, he will not be having that blessing. He will not be able to distinguish in situations how to behave. Sorry, this is related to another quote when he says that why anger, when Krishna was chastising Arjuna in that situation, when he first took the sword, he was saying, why have your anger overcome you? You were not able to control your anger because you were not serving the seniors properly. That's how Krishna started his explanation. That you can only control your senses if you serve seniors properly, sincerely. Otherwise, the senses will overcome you. Especially in situations where it's forcing you, that senses would overwhelm you, either anger or greed or lust or any sense really. So that's why it's so important. You can see Indra is overwhelmed by his sense pleasure, sense enjoyments, and the moment he stopped serving adequately Brihaspati, everything will collapse. His position, his fame, right? He will become kind of infamous for further, the reactions that will come. It will be miserable. His uh, first minister will take over his wife, because now all of a sudden he will be on the throne with, so he would think himself Indra, and so he could claim he's Indra's wife, and so many things would happen. I hope I'm not mistaken the stories, but in one situation, it's exactly what was happening in the sequence of events after not getting the blessings, after committing Guru Aparad. So what's the time? Okay, let's leave a few minutes for questions and comments. Yes, that's
In the Bhagavad Gita, one of the austerities of the body is to offer respects to senior. This is nice to keep in mind that it's actually an austerity.
Yeah, it is an austerity to pay obeisances to seniors, as explained in Bhagavad Gita, as well as to Krishna himself. He also says, Manmana Bhavaman Bhakto Mam Yajimam Namaskuru. That Namaskuru must be there. Or same thing as Tadvidhi Paripatana Pariprashnena Sevaya. They should be Pranipat. They should be same, that respect. So if we start, and that's how Prabhupada taught us and his disciples, that one has to be a little bit like a fool in front of your spiritual master. Not meaning that you don't use intelligence to ask questions, etc., but you're certainly not puffing up and correcting your spiritual master or explaining him what's the Shastra meanings, things like that. You just don't do. And unfortunately, sometimes devotees fall into this trap. Now in Shastra world, they can start correcting not necessarily their spiritual master, but like on the level of their spiritual master, another sannyasi, god brother of his spiritual master, like that. So, and it's very dangerous when we think that we understood the Shastra and we can correct or explain it to the seniors. That's.
I guess my point for clarification, or discussion, like it's very uncomfortable when we go to pay obeisances to seniors, but then they pay obeisances to us, and like sometimes they're very old, and it's like they're like they just bend their knees on the ground, and So I almost think that yeah, as like juniors need to offer juniors need to learn how to offer obeisances more to seniors, but seniors also need to learn how to accept those obeisances. But maybe it's my own thing that like I just I don't want to offer my obeisances to a senior because I know they're going to bow down to me. So that could be my mental.
Yeah. I'm on the same page with you. Sadasi says about we paying obeisances to seniors, but seniors can be so old, it's so difficult for them to pay obeisances back, yet they still do that because it's like Vaishnava etiquette, Vaishnavas paying obeisances to each other, all that thing, and we feel almost like discouraged to pay obeisances because we don't want to cause disturbance or have an inconvenience in them because they're seniors and we just want to pay obeisances without them paying obeisances back, but they don't, and showing their humility. I know it's very embarrassing. That's Prabhupada. I mean, I have experienced this a lot with Prabhupada disciples as well as sannyasis. In one instance, I even had that sannyasi bowing down to me. I was like, luckily I was in Dandavat and he was just paying obeisances, like not full, so not to embarrass me completely. But those situations are rather awkward. But but so the tricks I used to pay obeisances when they don't see me, just from afar. And then when I greet them, I just use the pranam because I already paid the basis. Krishna saw it. So that's what I did. But with one devotee, he was having like mystic powers. So he, with his back eyes, saw me paying obeisances like 30 meters away, and he would turn around and pay obeisances back. Like that. And I had this many times with him. It's another embarrassing thing. He couldn't trick him, basically. Anyway, maybe others can share more what to do in those situations. But we still have to. The main thing is, of course, mood. The mood has to remain, right? So if you don't want to inconvenience, and your real mood is just not to inconvenience the devotee, but pay respect. Namaskuru, even that pranam that we do, is actually also, in one sense, a obeisance. So at least with all your humility and mentally, you can bow down fully to the devotee. Externally, you may have that, but as long as the mood is maintained, I don't think it's an aparat. But that mood is important to preserve.
Because one has to, I don't know if it's Krishna or Balaram or, but they like, they, they want to bring the basic stuff, but they do it so close. And I think it has to really grab an ankle so that they won't be able to pay basic.
Maybe. But you can see here Krishna pays obeisance to Narada Muni, Deva Rishi. He says, out of all the demigods, out of rishis among the demigods, Deva Rishi, Narada is the one who's Krishna's like very special empowered devotee. So Krishna follows that etiquette himself, showing us. Now, of course, they're very strong, all of these personalities. Anyway, and place circumstance, I guess. Yes, like.
In regards to, I've been thinking about like my generation and next generation of everybody's coming up, that the etiquette is there. Like we know when we read about how to respect seniors and show our respect, but I feel it's becoming increasingly, and will become increasingly difficult to really have that internal mood, um, in one sense, because people are like best friends with their parents nowadays, or they party with their parents, or the parents say, oh, you should smoke weed, and then they have a friend that's like, I was just smoking weed with your mom this weekend. So it becomes hard to like, um, yeah, even that material culture of that respect is what is completely going on.
Yeah, the conch is blowing. So the idea was about the culture also, that these days the culture is such that parents are friends with their children and going to parties together and so forth, and it becomes much more difficult to even understand the culture of paying respects to seniors, and we can discuss that offline. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Radha.
Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe. Radha Damodara Radha Dara Shri Radhe.
Ciao.